All right, folks, welcome to today's podcast. I titled it Podcast 109. What is a move team? Um, Folks, let's jump right into it, okay? Um, we have many various functions of the air operations area, okay? And this includes the runway, the taxiways, the ramps, the terminal, the parking lot, all that good stuff, okay? So, with that being said, as many of you guys know, and some of you guys don't already know, I work for IAD. Okay. This is a topical map of IAD. It was established in 1962 and it's part of the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority. Okay. Washington Dulles. And the three-letter code is IAD. Okay. So, what I'm going to show you is this is a top map. Okay. Now, for reference, this is north, south, west, east. Okay. This box right here is our terminal. Okay. This box down here is another ramp area. And these boxes are gate areas. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into detail, but I'd like to explain something to you. Okay. This is runway 12. It's also runway 30. Okay. This is runway 19 right, 1 left. This is runway 19 center. Okay. 19 center. Okay. This is runway 19 left. This is runway 1 right. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. This is actually runway 1 center. So as you guys see, it's 1 1 1 and then 1 9 1 9 1 9. Okay. Now, why is that, do you think? Okay. Let's, for example, focus on the compass. Okay. You ever seen an old timey compass before? What does an old timey compass look like? Okay. An old timey compass is literally, and picture a lot of pirate movies. Okay. But let's not associate pirates with this whole podcast, just to give you a general idea. Okay. Pirates keep a compass that's shaped in a circle, right? Well, we know from our math classes, okay, or those that struggled, I will help you out here. Okay. A circle is 360 degrees, not to be confused with 365 days in a year. Okay. They're both not the same thing. Of course, that was a little bit of a joke, but you guys get the idea. 360 degrees. Okay. Now, slash that in half. If you guys need to, get out your calculators, your smartphones, whatever. Plug in 360 divided by 2. Okay. You guys already do that? What do we get? We get 180, right? So where do we come up with these numbers 1, 9, and 1? Okay. Believe it or not, the runways are compass directions. So if I were to actually technically tell you this, this would be 010 left, 010 center, 190 right, 190 center for 190 degrees. Okay. Now, believe it or not, if you look at these numbers in relation to where they are in true north, okay, it's tilted slightly. So in true north, 0 degrees north, okay, that runway is located 10 degrees off of true north, okay, for runway 1 center. Or going the other way, it's 19 center. Do you understand that? So we're going to do a video explaining the runways and the numbering system, but I'm giving you a brief understanding and a brief synopsis here. If you take off on one side, that is runway 1 center. Okay. So you're coming down this way. And by the way, the numbers are going to point in the direction your nose is taking off. Okay. On the other side, with the other opposite flow, it's 1-9 center. So if you had 2 planes pointed at each other, you'd have 1 center and 1-9 center pointed right at each other taking off, okay? But they don't do that. They have 1 plane on one end taking off against the other direction. Why? Because of wind. And we'll explain the science of flight in another podcast, okay? Now, having had said that for you guys, let's go ahead and continue with this, all right? As planes are coming in to land in my particular airport, Dallas Airport here, as you can see from my diagram, okay, it's pretty heavy because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 active runways, okay? They can land, they can, take off, they can do what they have to do, okay? They can reject an approach, they can reject a takeoff, this, that, and the fourth, and there's a couple of things that we'll talk about that later, and I wanna get a real pilot's perspective or captain's perspective on those, okay? Because these are actual procedures that do occur, alright? Not every flight is taken off the ground, okay? And people that make a lot of money make these decisions, and they're not made because they feel like it. Remember, their family, my family, and your family are all in there, and we're at the hands of these captains, these pilots. So they're making this decision knowing that they got to make sure you get to your family safe and sound 100%. So when they make a decision not to leave or when they make a decision not to come in, okay, it's because the condition is unsafe. Okay. What does all this have to do with anything? Okay. Now, imagine this. When they land on this runway, they're going to take a taxiway. Okay. And there's some taxiways adjacent and parallel to a few of these runways. Okay. Now, imagine these planes coming in. Have you ever seen 3 or 4 planes just at an airport close to you? Maybe a small footprint, like, regional airport, you might see 4 gates or 5 gates max, and maybe 1 or 2 planes sitting there at most. I'm talking about your, like, hub airports, your regular line airports, right? And this is usually domestic. We're gonna get to international airports later, okay? But this is just typically talking about the continental United States, the 50 states. We're talking about airports within that vicinity, okay? They're going to be coming in here, and it's typically one per every 40 seconds or maybe 50 seconds. So they're going to touch down, they're going to taxi, and they're going to park. Another one's going to touch down, taxi, and park. Okay. My airport on Terminal A over here, okay, and I'm sorry, Terminal A over here has 32 gates, and this is the midpoint right here, okay? I didn't mark it, but imagine it being the midpoint right here, okay? Bravo terminal or B terminal, right? B as in boy, B as in Bravo is going to be 79 or 81 gates if you count the very 2 ends, okay? We technically don't count those because those are really just transport gates. I'll explain that later because IAD has a very weird and interesting transport system, and we'll talk all about them in a later podcast. Okay, because it's pretty unique in the way that it was designed and created and came about, right? And it's still used today. Okay, and that's actually an integral part of today's podcast, and I'll explain why. Okay, so you have these, so you can see there's a lot of gates here. Now, take that one and multiply it by 2, okay, or times 1. We're going to have another one to worry about over here. And there are 32 gates over here. Now, why are there more gates up here than there are down here? Because some of these gates down here in the Charlie and Delta terminal are wide body gates. Okay. You guys ever seen a 777? This thing is huge. Not as massive as the 380, but it is huge. Okay. The wingspan is long. Now imagine having to park 32 of them side by side by side by side. You couldn't possibly get all the planes there. So that's why there are a few numbers. Okay. I am also gonna tell you that there are some gates missing at Dulles because of their numbering system, and we'll talk about that in another podcast later, okay? Because Dulles has a really weird numbering system if you're not familiar with Dulles, okay? But the information I'm sharing is vital because I not only have gates here, but I have gates here. And oh, by the way, this holding area, this remote holding area has gates as well. So add up all your gate numbers. We have well over 150 gates to park. Now, imagine planes having to move all around this airport while they're parking and leaving and entering and holding. It would be a nightmare, okay? It would be crazy. So, what is the purpose or what is a move team? A move team is just as it sounds. They literally move aircraft from the gate area to the taxiway area, okay? And from taxiway area to the gate area. Now, they can also move it from the terminal to the gate, from the gate to the gate, and from the holding area to the gate, okay? There's many different ways that they can do this, but that plays an integral part of the planes working for us as we do the operations, all right? Especially the ground crew, okay? The loading, uploading, moving, this, that, and the fourth. Because I can't tell you the number of times that we will park a plane, we'll offload them, and the move team will come scoop it, grab it up, and push it back and move it because the plane that's right behind it is coming into park so it can be offloaded. And then you, the viewers, are going to be walking right on board as they start the boarding process. Okay. And it's typically occurs because there aren't enough gates for every plane. Okay. So it's kind of like sharing a parking lot. You guys imagine a parking lot? Okay. Yes, I can use any one of those spaces. Now, imagine it being Black Friday. Imagine everyone in the area wanting that spot. Not everyone can have a spot. Okay. So, but at the same token, I don't own that one spot that's parked right in the middle. Okay. I'll park in there, I'll get in my car, and I'll leave so someone else can use that same spot. Now, however length of time they use that for, that is off the record and it's off the charts. That's for them and them to decide. Okay. In the airport, there's actually stricter enforced um, policies for how long you can actually be there because planes have to come in and, take off and leave the gate and this, and that, and the other. Okay. So that's what the move team is. Okay. What is the purpose of the move team? The purpose of the move team is to A, reduce staffing that's needed to do a specific job so that they can be used elsewhere, okay? And I'm not stating this to tell you that they are not an integral part of the operations because let me tell you folks, if it were not for the move team, we would not be effective ground personnel, okay? The second thing, okay? The move team also reduces emissions, okay? Now, a plane has 2 engines. Now, I'm not talking physical engines, I'm talking engines, okay? The plane has its primary power source, which is the turbofans. That's where you hear all of the thrust when you take off, the okay? That's what you're hearing. But one thing you may not be hearing or accustomed to hearing is the engine in the back. That's called the APU, the Auxiliary Power Unit. Okay. Let's break this down. For that engine to start, like any other engine is, there are 4 stages. Do you any of you remember what those 4 stages are? Okay. I'll give you a clue. The last 2 are bang and blow. Okay. So we need suck, squeeze, bang, and blow, which means we need a combustion, okay, for this to occur in squeeze and bang. Squeeze and bang is the pistons moving up and down and in different rotations to cause that rotation in that turbine to produce power. Okay. Now, luckily, this turbine engine isn't really providing that thrust. Okay. It's more or less providing the power to power resources. All right. Have you ever had a power outage at home? Now, have you ever used a generator before? Okay. When you use your generator at home, it's not providing additional power above your house power. It's providing enough electricity via the components, the conversion that's going on scientifically, so you can have power similar to your house power, right? To power vital components, maybe your fridge so that your food doesn't go bad. Maybe it's medical supplies to make sure they are running. Maybe it's to charge your car so it is run properly while it's the power is down, what have you. Okay. You guys get the drift, right? So it is a vital power energy force. Now, when that AP was running, it's doing what? It's burning fuel because fuel has to go into the combustion process for it to rotate. Okay. So fuel is not cheap. Fuel is not free. Okay. As it's being used. Okay. And it typically is being used to run cabin lighting. It's used to run computer components to get the process going. Okay. It's used to run the aircraft when the plug may be damaged or it may be inserviceable. Okay. Um, let's say that there is a power outage and a lot of the power lines go down. They can still get the plane going because of that auxiliary power unit. It's like a backup generator for this plane. Okay. In any case, so it saves them time and it saves them staffing, but it also saves them time on the airline, okay? And what I mean by that is, like I said, when we park a plane that's expected to be towed, okay, off of the gate, okay, it will go to a holding cell or a holding zone more essentially, not a cell, but it's a holding zone that they'll hold them there, okay, keep them all maintained, and someone's watching these all the time, okay, and they will monitor them with a backup APU team, okay, and they will essentially let it stay there so that the next aircraft that comes to that gate that is doing the turn, we call a turn an in and out. That's what we call a turn. So it's a park and pushback. That's what we call a turn. Okay. So they'll do a turn and then let's, for example, say that they need a bigger plane or they need another plane for a departure, okay, for passengers to board so that they can leave that day. Well, they'll go to that holding zone, go grab that aircraft, move it to the gate, and park it and put it on chocks so it doesn't go anywhere. And then they'll attach the jet bridge and get it all ready for you to board. And voila, you board the plane, it's ready to go. Um, So that's the purpose of the move team. Now, the move team is kind of moving without you even realizing they are, okay? And there's many signs that they're doing the work, all right? The sign that they're doing the work is you will notice that they are moving on a tractor, okay? Because that's one way to move them. Um, they typically will monitor the cabin. They'll make sure everything is correct and all right. And then, when it's time for, like, irregular operations, right? When they need to get this stuff heated and going, they'll make sure everything's connected, they'll make sure everything is ready to go so that the gate crew's not wasting the time doing all that good stuff, okay? That's what the move team does, that's their purpose, alright? Um, I would like to also segue myself into, letting you guys know, um, I know this was briefly mentioned in, I think, a podcast or 2 ago when we did that conversation with my toga brother, Richard. I originally just got accepted to the the tow crew or what we call the move team. Um, I am on a conditional, acceptance basis. I'm not actually 100% on the team yet. We have to go through rigorous weeks of training. Think of it as a boot camp, okay? Once you pass week 1, you're not guaranteed on it. Matter of fact, day 1, you're not even guaranteed. Day 450, you're not even guaranteed. But you gotta show up consistently, proficiently, okay, and effectively via the standards and the regulations that are required to be a part of that team, all right? Because you've got to be proficient, all right, to be able to stay on there. So I have to welcome myself. I have to stay up. I have to stay knowledgeable. I have to stay smart. I have to stay focused and this, that, and the other. Among all my other colleagues, if I'm not pulling my fair share, I'm gone. If I'm not doing this and that and the other, I'm gone because this is a very fast paced moving industry. There's no time for, I don't feel like it today. Oh well. Yeah, I have a I just don't wanna go fast today. I'm take my time. No, it don't work that way. It don't cut it that way, alright? Um, Now having had said this, I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to, discuss all that with you. But my point is that this is a very high demand industry. It's a very high demand work area. It's a very high demand assignment. Okay. This is nothing short of very elite members. Okay. Um, so I'm going to also tell you that there are going to be days where it's going to be hectic, it's going to be crazy, and it's just going to be the way things are. Um, Gear up. I appreciate your comment there. Um, I appreciate you checking out and liking our videos, so that means a lot to us. Um, but we're here to give you guys some content and let you guys in on the world of aviation. Um, I want to also touch up on your comment. Nothing bad, nothing negative here, but the whole point of me touching up on your comment, Gear Up, is that our channel here is not to stir up drama. Our channel here is not to cause commotion. It's not to um, point out the elite among all of you all. Okay. Now, granted, I did just say that they are an elite member of the operations, and that is because if it weren't for them, things probably wouldn't have gone as smooth in some airports when things are just chaotic. Now, let's go back to my map here. Okay. You see all these and these, particularly on my runways? This is just IAD. Go Google Map this, Apple Map this, Samsung Map this, whatever you want, your local airport. Okay. And maybe your airport only has 2 runways, maybe it only has 3, and that's okay. But my point is, and get ready for this, go look at Houston, go look at Chicago, and by Houston, I mean IAH. Go look at Chicago, ORD. Those 2, um, those 2 airports. Go check out their overview, their top view of the airport, and count the runways, okay? Count the runways in relation to the amount that we have in IAD. Now, to be able to remember all the stuff that's going on at any given second, okay? And remember, the airport never stops. It may be slow at times, but it never stops. It never ceases. All right. Um, Even during a couple of times and in history, it never stopped. It was still flowing, but it was not a regular flow. Okay. Um, So yeah, back to your comment. Um, our stuff is not to basically pick favorites. It's not to call people out. Our channel is to inform you and to show you, and most importantly, share with you the different the different, content that's involved in working for an airline, because I think a lot of you guys, I don't wanna say all of you, but I think a fair amount of you, I'm not gonna, suggest a specific percentage because I honestly can't figure that out. A fair amount of you think that working for an airport basically just entails having a bunch of people walk out there and park a plane, okay? Once it's parked, the bags come off, and then they just go to where they have to be. But there is so much more involved. You have the ticketing counter grabbing your bags, making sure they go down to the baggage area for us so we can load them properly, effectively, and safely, given that they pass TSA. Okay. That's another one. You have TSA that is also working hard on the clock to make sure that everybody is secure and safe as we fly. You have customer service at the actual gate and desk area, making sure that you're not boarding the wrong plane, meaning that your itinerary and your boarding pass. I was trying to get the word. I'm like brain dead right now. Your boarding pass matches up. Okay. Um, you have ground personnel who are out there actively cleaning up the gate area from all the debris and the trash. Now, do any of you guys, this is just a small little trivia question that I'd like to pose out there, and in part of the move team actually can coincide with this. We don't call garbage trash. Does anybody know on this channel what we call garbage in the aviation industry? And if you want, post your comment in the comment section down below or down in the corner or wherever you're viewing this. Okay. What do you think we call it? Okay. So I gave you a few seconds. Your time is up. So we actually call it foreign object debris, which is known as FOD. FOD was the correct answer I was looking for. FOD is anything that can damage an aircraft, damage you equipment, and damage personnel. And I say personnel because even something as simple as um, a broken piece of, whether it be luggage, whether it be trash, whether it be whatever, if we slip on that, it can be a serious issue, safety issue. If engines suck all this up, it could be a very serious issue. So we will make sure to move all that away from the gate area. Okay. And so we and the move team and everyone else do our job to pick up FOD. Okay. So you have the gate people doing all that. You also have the baggage runners that are coming to the gate to pick up your bag to run it to the claim area because it doesn't just go there via, some weird portal. It actually gets placed in, someone's cart to be able to go to the terminal, okay? And so on that note, there are also people coming to collect freight, all right? Like big old goods that you shipped, whether you purchased a big bulk shipment of housewares or mic parts, or whether drinks, whether you picked up a big old pallet of, something to drink. I know we have a few of you. You know who I'm talking about. And so we have people that are coming to grab that as well. All right. And the move team is none less than that. All right. We're all doing our job on the AOA to make sure that everything is effectively, safely, and efficiently occurring. All right. Because if it weren't for any one of us, that wouldn't happen. But today's main focus is the move team. Okay. And so today I explained and I described what the move team is and what the move team does. Um, so the move team basically is on the same AOA area as all the other captains and pilots, and they are maneuvering the aircraft where they have to be to other areas and this, that, the other. So, yeah, they have to be a very um, high, high level number of folks that understand what is going on. They understand what is what could occur. They understand the components. They understand, um, the conflictions and this, that, and the other, okay? At the end of the day, each one of us wanna go home, and they help us do that by making sure that everything is done correctly, okay? Um, so I would like to end tonight's episode by saying thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of our Toga Brother family, okay? Even though I know I took it over, guys, I still call it our channel. It will and always forever be my favorite Toga Brothers channel as well, alright? So, in saying that, you guys ready? We're gonna go ahead and head on out. If you guys haven't already, go check out my other channels over there, down there, up there, wherever they're posted for you. I have about 4 or 5 other ones. Go check them out. You might actually like some of the content, and some of them I've actually started streaming live and have done some podcasts. Let me know what you want later on in the comments and stuff of that sort. And one last and final word that I'd like to tell you guys, and this is a disclaimer, and I will always disclaim this. Okay. Yes, I love to have fun. Yes, I'm bringing you quality entertainment. Yes, I'm bringing you quality knowledge. And yes, I'm bringing you quality and high level content. But one thing I will not do is I will not jeopardize my job. I will not jeopardize my integrity. And I will not be sharing information with you that is confidential that you don't need to know. Okay. There are industries that do this, and mine is no exception. There are information and things I am not allowed to share with you for any unknown reason. And it's some of it self explanatory, and some of it you just kind of have to go with me on it. Okay. But the whole point of our podcast, the whole point of our channel is to open your all's eyes into the world of aviation and how in depth and complex it really is for us in aviation. All right. And there's a lot you can do. It's not just loading a bag into a plane. There's so much more going on in aviation that maybe someday down the road, even you can be a part in aviation. All right. So, with all that being said, are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's do this together. I'm Sean. I am out.